Well, we came up because of this. The news just in, 2 people have been gunned down in a robbery in Durban. Our senior reporter, eNCA's Dasen Thathiah, is at the scene and joins us live now to give us details around this robbery. Dasen, good morning to you, colleague. What can you tell us?
Well, Tumelo, I can tell you that the crime scene here is quite active. We're in Newlands East. This is Queenfish Place that we're standing on now. Lots of police units, private security companies as well. And just from the initial information that we are receiving, the house is just off behind me here, and that's where there's a vehicle there that was believed to have been driven by the suspects, and there are also the suspects that are on that property. So that's where a police shootout took place. We believe that the police had tracked them after a robbery this morning about 2 hours away from here. It was a courier vehicle, I'm told, that was robbed, and as a result that led to police here. I just want to get more details on what transpired, and that's why I'm joined now by Brigadier Jay Naika of the SAPS. Brigadier, thanks so much for joining me. I know that 2 suspects have been killed. There's also been one that's been arrested, but just explain to us what was the sequence of events that led to them being here?
Okay, at approximately, or just after 6 o'clock this morning, a courier vehicle was passing the paddock area on the N2 when they were confronted by suspects traveling in a blue Toyota Corolla. They robbed the courier vehicle of various items, including electronic goods. They loaded the stolen items into their vehicle and they fled the scene. Police and security companies were alerted, and a process began where they tracked this vehicle all the way from the south coast to the Newlands East area. As the police officers arrived on the scene, they spotted the suspects removing items from the vehicle and taking it into the house. The police officers the suspects saw the police officers and they opened fire. There was an exchange of gunfire, and during the shootout, 2 suspects were killed and 1 was arrested.
Just 2 questions, but I'll start with what actually happened in paddock. What do we know about the courier driver there, or that vehicle? I mean, was that person unharmed?
Yes, the suspects confronted the driver, and they were obviously looking at what was in the vehicle, and they were very specific in what they took. They targeted electronic items and other expensive goods, which they loaded into the vehicle. They left the victims unharmed and left the vehicle, and then they fled in their getaway vehicle.
We'll just show you the scene while I just continue chatting to you, Brigadier. If you look at the scene here and how the layout of the house was, does this appear to be a place where stolen goods were being stashed? What is the significance of the house here in a suburb like this one?
I think it's very disturbing, and we always say, if you see something, say something. And the fact that these criminals are living within this residential area, their houses are extremely close to each other. You can basically look into each other's yards, so you can basically see what's going on. But they carry out their activities quite brazenly because communities don't report. They see suspicious behavior and they don't report. And when there's an incident like this, then they're all like, "Oh, we're so surprised. We didn't think something like this was happening in our own neighborhood." So there's obviously a concern, and if the Newlands area is one of the areas that's experiencing high levels of crimes and robberies, specifically house robberies. And it just goes to show that the residents of this area are not very alert. They don't know what's going around them, and that's why they're so susceptible to robberies and the like.
Or they may not necessarily say something. Thank you for your time, Brigadier Jay Naika. Tumelo, I can tell you that just a short while ago, I ran into one of the neighbors on the street, and in fact, when he was asking me what happened, he had said to me, "Oh, I know that house. I remember there being some noise coming out of that house on several occasions." But then, I guess it also speaks to what Brigadier Jay Naika is saying, that if there are certain suspicions or people know what's going on, it's up to them to report these. So we'll remain here and update you on any progress that is made with this investigation beyond this crime scene that we're at.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jason, for that update. Jason, for us out in Newlands, we understand that 2 suspects have been, of course, shot dead this after an exchange of fire with police where they had confronted a courier vehicle carrying various goods, including electronics, which were then obviously stolen, taken to the house, according to eNCA police spokesperson. And that is where, of course, police found information that is where the suspects were. And I understand that 2 were actually shot dead due to that gun exchange. So we'll continue to, of course, give you more updates and leads to the story as soon as our eNCA reporter, Dasen Thathiah, has more information. But in the meantime, we'll head over to a break and come back after this.